In every culture around the world, not only is there a unique spoken language, but a nonverbal code. This nonverbal code consists of many different parts, from body language to even physical appearance. In Chinese culture, there is a specific way in which body language is conveyed. This can be known as kinesics. Kinesics are the certain body movements and gestures one may use to communicate nonverbally. Chinese people have several different facial expressions which vary in meaning. For example, sticking one's tongue out means surprise, a widening of the eyes shows anger, and scratching the ears and cheeks can indicate that you're happy. They also have a very unique method for beckoning someone by turning the palm downward and moving the fingers in a scratching motion. When pointing someone in the right direction, it is important to use the entire hand and not just one or two fingers, as it is considered rude. A common Chinese gesture is the traditional Chinese greeting, which is to cup one's hands left over right and place them high above the chest while bowing to one another. Otherwise, it's polite to bow to someone who is in a higher social rank than you are, or to just shake hands. Another instance of the importance of body language in Chinese customs is when receiving a gift. It is important to thank the person and accept the gift with two hands, showing that you're grateful. It is also imperative that you open the gift after someone leaves. Another instance is when you're eating with chopsticks. It is important to never leave your chopsticks sticking straight out of your food, say in a bowl of rice, because it's seen as bad luck. The proper way to leave your chopsticks when you're not using them is to simply set them down on the table. Proxemics, or the perception of space, is unique in the Chinese culture. When conversing, it is not uncommon for someone who is Chinese to stand rather close to the person they're talking to. 1 or 2 feet is common distance. When meeting a stranger, the distance may be farther. Although Chinese may not be used to having that much personal space, they do not like to be touched within that space. Haptics, or touch, is something that is not often publicly expressed in the Chinese culture. For example, any public display of affection is not viewed very positively in Chinese culture. However, there are instances in which physical contact is accepted in Chinese culture. While of course, when greeting someone, it may be common to lower your head or to bow, it would also be acceptable to shake hands, though this would not be acceptable with someone who is of higher status than you are. Generally speaking, Chinese people are not a very touch-oriented society. Chinese people may be especially shy with foreigners, so if you do decide to visit China, it's important to try and limit body contact as much as possible. In China, friends are allowed to make contact, of course, but this mostly happens with women. It is not uncommon to see 2 women who are friends, holding hands or walking side by side. Paralinguistics are the vocal qualities involved when expressing oneself. Chinese is a tonal language, meaning that Chinese people use different tones to express different words. Otherwise, it may be common for a Chinese person to show one's surprise or dismay by sucking in air quickly and loudly through the lips and teeth. In collectivist cultures, like China, time orientation is inextricably linked to interpersonal relationships. Time is flexible and fluid simply because relationships and personal connections take precedence over schedules, timekeepers, and appointments. Even work time is not clearly separated from personal time. In the case of China, time tends to be subjugated to relationships. This is referred to as polychronic time orientation. An example of this would be if you were talking to someone, and they seem to be doing many other things at once, rather than solely paying attention to you. You should not be offended by this. They are paying attention to you, but just in a polychronic way. Regarding physical appearance, in China, fair skin is viewed as a sign of being wealthy, as someone who is wealthy would not have to go outside to work, and therefore wouldn't get tan. In China, there are also many people who have not seen a person of a different race before. So when a Chinese person finds someone of a different ethnicity, they may react in a way that may seem strange to us Americans. They may ask you to take pictures with them, or they may even sneak pictures with you. Smell, or olfactics in China, are heavily involved around spices and scents. In ancient China, all scents were seen as a form of medicine, even perfumes. In modern times, people may burn incense or have special spices that give off certain smells. Gardens may even be placed in certain locations, so that the natural scents may be smelt during the day. While of course there is some westernization in China, it's expected to not see a lot of people wearing Chanel perfume. When it comes to oculesis, or eye contact, it is very limited in the Chinese culture. While it may be accepted among certain groups of friends and very special occasions, it is seen as highly disrespectful to look someone in the eye who is of a higher social ranking than you are. When going to China, it's important to take all of these things into account, as to not offend anybody and to have a great time when you're in China.